Today I'm going to be discussing a very known ethical dilemma called deontology. It is a moral outcome that we should adhere to ourselves and not focus quite on what is going to occur in the long run, but focus on the mortality of it now rather than the consequences later. Immanuel Kant says that laws are discovered through reason and the end does not justify its means. A big example for me is a doctor trying to figure out if they should pull the cord on someone who's not quite mentally there, mentally stable, and though it may potentially hurt that person to let go of them, it's still morally okay in some terms for some people because ethically they're no longer going to be suffering anymore. A big thing that I kind of had to deal with this type of ethical ideology. I work at an elementary school and I work in the cafeteria, and there's this man who has not been doing the things that a man who is working in a cafeteria should be doing around children. He is considered the manager, and he had been vaping on campus and hitting THC vapes, which are quite illegal here in Texas. Just things that a manager should not be doing, especially around our young kiddos. Now, I was genuinely concerned to come out and say anything about this because I felt like I could potentially lose my job, but morally, I've come to the conclusion that if I were to lose my job for being honest and seeing something that should not be done, that's honestly kind of deontology. I mean, I don't know the end result, but I can't sit there and be upset or be mad at myself for doing what I feel is ethically correct. You know, if I were to potentially lose my job, I know that I would be protecting the children, I would be protecting my own ethics and my own mortalities, and though I maybe hated on said manager, I know that what I did was right. You know, there's consequences to every action, but that doesn't mean that it's the end of everything. There's multiple movies as well that consider deontology, like even the Hunger Games, which normally is potentially used for utilization. I see it as being a deontology type concept, because though it is for the greater good, these people are still fighting to do what is right for not even knowing what the consequences could be, like Katniss. She is fighting for her specific group, and though people may die, she knows it's for the rights. I mean, there's so many things that we often look at what the end could be. Anything. When somebody gets pulled over, and you never know if this is going to be the end, or am I being morally wrong for calling in a situation and not knowing the outcome. But in reality, we really cannot focus on what that outcome could potentially be. If we end up in a situation or a circumstance where your morals are on the line, we can't sit there and discern our own ideas and our own moral societal norms. You know, it's kind of a hard ethical situation to be a part of, but personally, when I was reading about deontology, I just thought it was so fascinating that we genuinely do deal with these types of ethical obligations each and every single day, but we never really knew the name for it. I just love how ethics is so broad and so many different perspectives going in and out. So it was really cool to finally see like a label of the norm of what this truly is and how it has affected different philosophers and different ethical individuals who have changed our society for the better. So specifically, deontology is being able to look at the entire scenario and not just focusing on what the outcome may be at the very end. It's kind of like a tunnel. It's kind of like a light. You know, you see the tunnel and you see a light at the end, and if the end is not on, it's okay. You know, you did what you feel is morally and ethically correct, and I feel like as a society, if we focus more on right now, that we would be able to get so much more done than focusing on what the end result could potentially be. Thank you so much.